video because they don't want to figure out how to break this. That's a good thing.
And the Oreo Disney locomotive we use to show you how it really works. Good morning.
Very important song you're not doing. The explosion wiped out cameras, everything else. It took them 2 hours to put out the fire with advanced firefighting foam. When I got finished.
Luckily, the war has the biggest gas. But I have one blue up. So the rest of you don't have to do the same stuff over and over. While I'm doing that, you guys are free to wander around the floor. But I have to set parameters on what exactly you are allowed to do. So let's say, so just stay on the broken up asphalt. On the other side of the Roy, you're allowed to go to the other side of the Roy. Do not pass that large white truck that's on the other side of the Roy. And lastly, the weird yellow styrofoam that's around a lot of these columns here. Don't touch the yellow styrofoam. You might wonder, why shouldn't I touch it? Allow me to demonstrate. Okay, that's why you don't do it. Everybody see? Disney pays for my laundry, doesn't pay for your laundry. Lily's pulled out, we can get a little bit closer to Roy. The version that I'm about to give right now is so baby simple you can take a quick nap to do that. If you're in the first group, those who are loco for locomotive, it'll be a little bit slow. If you're in the second or third group, those people who really like Disney or got dragged out of the bed, I think this will help whenever they're in contact with the rest of the side. So in the first and third, you're looking at the locomotive. How
others are in museums? Or?
It's the oxygenated, filtered, and cleaned and sediments before it's out. So it should cut down that.
Next time, come back again. Get a better tour guide.
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, you're so welcome, guys.
Here after, inspections of the tender where the water would be kept, make sure, and after making sure the coal or wood, whatever your load is, that's powering this, first thing that you'd want to do is also inspect the firebox, and I have a hard time forgetting things. Crap. I just know that you want to inspect where you would put your coal and wood to make sure it's working properly, and making sure that all the pressure and water valves are also working correctly, because one little thing that's messed up, you're either crashing the train or it's just not going to run. You also want to check reverse and forward brakes. Also the same, you want to check if the pressure valve over there, whistle, bell, everything.
Yeah. The first thing they do, there's 27 valves on the train that have to be open or partially open to get this thing to operate. So that's the very first thing they do. They check each and every valve.
Yes.
And then overnight, obviously.
Yes.
So we need air pressure. The very first thing on the right, where Wyatt is, Wyatt, you'd be the engineer. On the left, Andrew, you'd be the fireman. Fireman's in charge of the fuel and the water. Engineer is in charge of the motion of the train. To monitor the water inside of the boiler, you'd use the sight glass here. Looks like a thermometer, only instead of mercury on the inside, there's a water level. Instead of numbers on the outside, you've got volts. It's a very efficient system. The Magic Kingdom has a pretty strict speed limit. When it comes to water inside the boiler, you don't want it above 4 volts.
Are you talking about that steam that blows out the box? The side of the box?
No, you'll see, you're talking about the Johnson bar, the vertical bar.
Yes.
And right now it's essentially a neutral, and all it does, it controls the timing of that slide valve that's inside the steam chest.
Yeah.
If you move it anywhere forward of center, you can engage forward motion, and there's various degrees. If you move it anywhere rear of center, you can engage reverse motion, and again, varies.
That's really water treatment chemical.
Yeah.
firemen stepped off of the locomotive, they went to the left, because while we're popping off, they'll also lower the arms, so we will roll across without affecting traffic as much. Now do you understand why you're not allowed to do that by It's a Small World? Alright, so they wrote down that PSI value and they'll keep it. That's the crossing whistle. The whistle they'll blow every time they approach the crossing. Nobody's waving. Made him late to work. Alright, this is the security room. This station back here didn't exist in any form until 1988. From 1971 until 1988, this spot for how Mickey Mouse was created first. Everybody's familiar with Mickey Mouse, right? Alright, good. I'd be pretty shocked if at this point in your life nobody had heard of Mickey Mouse. Pop quiz. Was Mickey Mouse Walt Disney's first successful animated character? For 1,000 imaginary points, can anybody tell me who was? Oswald, well done. Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, Gabrielle is right. Oswald was Walt's first successful character. He lost it. That set of whistles you just heard, two longs, one short, was just announcing that we were crossing a switch. And the final two whistles you heard were the arrival whistles, letting the platform conductor know that we're pulling to the stage. But Oswald the Lucky Rabbit was Walt's first successful character. Even Oswald took Walt like 10 years to create. He started his first film studio in the late teens. He doesn't create Oswald until 1927. Oswald stars in 26 movies in 1927, and is just stupid successful. Made a lot of money for a guy named Charles Mintz. I do not want to make Charles Mintz sound like a Disney villain. Charles Mintz is almost literally a Disney villain. Has anybody ever seen the movie Up? It's a good movie, yeah, exactly. There's a bad guy in Up named Charles Muntz. Charles Muntz is based on real-life Disney bad guy Charles Mintz, the guy who stole Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. And to make matters worse, he is the head of what becomes our primary competitor, Universal Studios. She's using that rod to lift the hatch. She's going to use that silver wheel attached to the bottom of the water tower to bring the spigot down and top off that tender.
This is where you said they had, if you went to, you said
Yes.
the right spot. Well, he hit the right spot.
Yeah, they're way better than I am. They have their own celebration. It'd be pretty embarrassing if I got it wrong. So right now there's two basic ways that Kate can tell when she's got enough water in there. One, there is a mirror that's on the station that faces directly down to the top of the tender so she can see the water level in the porthole. And two, once her shoes start getting wet, she's probably got enough water in there. The water is coming directly from that swamp behind us. The building behind me right now, Charles had gone behind Walt's back to get negotiation budget. That's begun, but that brief rush of steam and water you heard, that's the blowdown. They were dumping sediment out from the bottom of the boiler on the left-hand side, returning it to that canal back there. Charles had gone behind Walt's back and hired out all but 4 of his animators out from underneath him. So if Walt did not sign the contract, he loses the character it took him 10 years to create, and almost the entire studio he had accumulated in that 4-year time. So that's a pretty difficult decision, and he chooses to tell Charles to stuff it. At this point, after 10 years of failure, after 2 bankruptcies, on his way to a 3rd bankruptcy, I think Walt would have been more than justified in going into insurance and calling it a day. Filmmaking is not for you. That's not Walt Disney. He hops on the train, a 3-day ride back from New York to LA, and he has a lot of time to dwell on a plane.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard the Walt Disney World Railroad. For your safety, we ask that you please remain seated at all times, keeping all hands on seats and legs inside of the train. Parents, please supervise your children and have those under the age of 7 seated on the inside left of the row. And for the comfort and courtesy of all guests on board, no eating, drinking, or smoking permitted while on the train.
So you see
And with those 2 results from our engineer, we have been cleared for forward motion to Main Street Station.
That's clearing
So please,
the
sit back and
platform
relax
with the
as
rear
we
conductor
are
on the train.
Looks like we're ready
This is one of my favorite segments of track, by the way. One of my favorite spots in the whole period. Stomach a little bit of cigarette smoke. This walkway, we've got 2 smoking areas in the park. One of them is in the best spot back here. It's a walkway between Fantasyland and Tomorrowland. Exactly. If you ever try to get away from 70,000 US friends, this is the spot to go. And the reason I love it, the train has to go very slow here. They're climbing that 2% hill. Exactly. They can't go over 11 miles per hour either, so they have to be slow and steady so they don't slip their wheels. This is the area they go the slowest up the track. And it also features a bunch of various transportation technologies. Right now you're on the locomotive. To your right, you see the Tomorrowland Speedway, kind of the technology of the present motor cars. What you see running above Tomorrowland is also a transportation technology of the future. Those blue cars you see are for the Tomorrowland Transit Authority people. You need to know those weren't built and designed as a rinky-dinky little kids riding a theme park. These were built as Walt's means of transportation in a city he was trying to reach. The whole reason this company came to Florida, and the reason we're creating these 10 miles of not to build theme parks. We were going to build a city called Epcot. Dedicated to true technological progress and when Walt comes away, you cannot realize that vision instead but the Tomorrowland Transit Authority was built to replace cars. Epcot was arranged as a series of suburban semi-circuits going around the city. Walk our transportation technologies, the monorail beams, the buses and the motor coaches, the boats that take you to the parking lot of insurance here as well. So on this length of track, we have 70,000 years of human transportation technologies, from primitive boats to steam trains to monorails and all of it's dedicated to the same thing. Taking people away from the outside world, the world that's on our left-hand side, and taking people to our world of new adventure and new frontier. Walt always realized the possibilities that transportation gave people to move from the problems of the past to the promise of the future. And that's what we're going to talk about.
Alrighty, folks, we are now approaching Main Street Station. Please remain seated until our train comes to a full and stop. And wait for the engineer to blow one, take a whistle, and I will say the first all clear. Once again, folks, please remain seated until our train comes to a full and complete stop. And you will know it is safe to stand and disembark
once we get the whistle, we're okay to step down. Or beyond that, imagine you're leaving your ordinary life behind just for a little bit. You're going to visit family and friends across the country. You didn't start your trips at an airport. Planes didn't even exist. You started them at the train station. When Walt was a kid, the train station was the portal to possibility, the portal to adventure. And that's why it's the first building in our 460. One way you can tell Wyatt knows a bunch about trains is that he's talking about locomotives in terms of their wheel. Here are number 2. Lily, a kindred spirit with Walt. She was also just all about adventure and story. One of these is not like the others. One of these does not belong. Disney, broken. He was the constant enabler of Walt Disney's dreams. As a kid, remember, the brothers' family worked on the rails. Roy is 8 years older.
However, at this time, the train is still in motion, so stay seated for me. Do not exit till you hear the 2 words of all clear. All clear, thank you. Watch your head and step as you exit.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the Walt Disney World Railroad is now arriving at Fantasyland Station. All passengers, please stand by to board. Monkeys, clowns, and acrobats, please report to the Big Top Supervisor.